Hello, everyone. Welcome to Accounting 150, Principles of Financial Accounting 1, the very first accounting class you most likely are taking at HAC, uh, unless you had other courses in other colleges. But um, we're, we're good that you're with us. We want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like you can ask questions. But I want you to understand how we've laid out the course so that you can find everything easily, so that you can know what's going on and complete all the assignments and all the learning activities and be successful. That's our goal, is that we can all learn a little bit more about accounting for the next 7 weeks. This is a 7-week course. Uh, the second half of this course is Accounting 151. If you are signed up for 151 for the same part of the semester as 150, you should change that. You want to take Accounting 151 after you take Accounting 150. So please check that. Make sure that you are signed up for Accounting 150 in the first half of the semester and 151 in the second half of the semester, if that's your intention of taking both those courses. Anyone who is transferring to another school in business needs to take Accounting 150 and 151. Anyone who is planning to get an associate's degree in accounting with associate's degree in business with a concentration in accounting must take 150 and 151. If you're taking an associate's degree in business but not an accounting concentration, then you want to take Accounting 150 the first half of the semester and Accounting 160 in the second half of the semester. That's a different path, depending on what your intention is. All right, so let's jump in and make sure we know where everything is. We've tried to lay out the things you will most likely need to use right up here at the top. Things like where the tutoring schedule is, the library links, anything you need help with in terms of getting research will be found in this resources link. If you want to send an email, that's here. You can check your grades at any point. Everything that will be put in the grade book as we go along. You can check your class progress, what activities you've done, which ones you haven't, what your score is, what your best grade you can get going forward, what's the worst grade if you didn't turn anything else in. All of those are found in your class progress. We'll turn in homework. We'll turn in our writing assignments. We'll even turn in our midterm exam using the Dropbox. And we will have a discussion. Discussion boards will be our primary means by which we will communicate. If you need questions answered, this is the place to go, discussion boards. Okay? These will also all be linked in the actual content modules. Okay? So besides these links, there's also the ability to go through it, content modules, which can be found there. And of course, to come back to the home is here. You see on the main page, my picture. This is me. Okay, my introduction is in the first discussion board, the introduction discussion board that's linked to here. There's my email outside of Brightspace. I'd prefer you use the one inside Brightspace, which is using this email when you want to email me. But remember, discussion boards first for content questions, email for personal and other things that you need to talk to me maybe about grading that's not for everybody. Okay, my office in Lancaster, on Lancaster campus, phone number there, and then the link to my Zoom, personal Zoom room, which is what I will use for office hours. All right. Calendars down at the bottom, content browser. The calendar will have upcoming events, updates as they happen, as things can become due, will show up here. In the middle will be an important section here, and that is our news feed. This is where I will give you some kind of update each week, telling you what is coming up due, any observations I'm seeing in terms of what's happening with the assignments. It'll have links and such to the material in the content module. So let's look at that for a minute, just the content Notice that there are these content modules down the side. First one is the start here. Second one is week 1, week 2. They correspond with the weeks of our semester. So we're a 7-week class. You can see there's 7 weeks, 7 modules, with the last one being the final exam module. Okay, each module will have some explanation, some kind of introduction through it at the beginning, and then it will have reading, and then it will have discussions, then assignments. Okay, in each one of those of the modules. So each module is laid out basically the same except for the test, the last one, which is the final exam module. Okay, so let's jump into the start here and look at the syllabus briefly. Okay, reiteration of information we probably already know at the beginning of the syllabus. Again, this is my personal Zoom room, which we'll use for online office hours, which will be at 10 to 11 Tuesday, Thursday, and 1 to 2 Tuesday, Thursday, as well as Thursday evening at 8 to 9 at that Zoom room, or these ones during the day. I will also be in my physical office on campus at East 206E. All right, this is for spring. This is CRN. If you need that, number in my office, number for administrative assistant if you want to reach her, refund dates, your links, description. All right. First thing that's kind of unusual about this class is that the textbook is entirely online and free. Okay. It can be found at this link here. You will also find a link in the course. You will find a link to individual chapters within each learning module. So when you click on that link, you go to this page, okay, and you see we have 6 chapters to correspond with our 6 weeks plus final 7th week, right? So week 1, to do our reading, we'll click on this, and you'll see that each of the chapters is then broken up into sections. This chapter has 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and then the end of chapter exercises. The textbook is set up like this. It will always tell you what your learning objectives is, and then it is a question and answer Socratic method design textbook that allows you to think through a question and then read about the answer, and then be able to hopefully apply that answer to that questions. Okay, and that's how everything is dealt with. There are check yourself questions that are separate from the back and forth in the text, helping you to see if you are grasping the information. The answers are always given right there. Okay, and there's always kind of a summary or a option at the end to kind of review what you've learned and so forth. All right, so that was the first section. Let's say you have a question, where is my homework? Where is the homework? Well, it's always in the last section of our textbook that we're working on. So in chapter 1 or week 1 or module 1, okay, you have this chapter. You go to the 1, section 5. All right, and then there are a whole bunch of questions, true, false questions, multiple choice questions, problems, and research. And this is the same for every chapter. They all have the same sections that things can come from. Now, here's what I've done for you. Okay, all of these questions, the true, false questions, the multiple choice questions are answered for you in the course material. Okay? So, you will find the answers to this back in Desire to Learn. I just backtrack back into there. And you'll see that in the reading and explanation, okay, there is, for the first module, there's a link to the actual chapter we just were at. There is my PowerPoint presentation about the chapter, my video podcast explanation about the chapter, and then there are answers. What are these answers to? Okay. These end of chapter exercises. The questions, true, false, multiple choice. Now, what about the homework? You say, you mean this homework's different, separate? Yes. The homework will always, so you'll always be given the answers to the first 3 sections. All right. So it wouldn't be much homework to have to answer those because they're already given to us. But good practice. You should use that to review what you learned. But then there's problems. Okay? And the homework Dropbox will instruct you which problems you need to complete and turn in. But they were always under the problem or research section, not the other ones. Okay? So that's where you find your reading or your homework, which is in the assignments submodule called homework, and it'll tell you what problems you need to do. In this case, it was problem 1 and 2, which we just saw, and the research 2. So there were multiple research questions, and you only have to do the second one of them and turn it in. Okay? So that's where your homework is. That's the same thing for every chapter. They're all basically look the same. Okay? So let's go back to our where we left off with our syllabus. So if there's anything else, you got the learning outcomes, what we hope to accomplish, some expectations. You can do activities anytime, but they need to be done on time according to the schedule. Okay? Please ask for help. Don't wait for the last minute. Okay? You're expected to have questions. We want you to have questions. I will post answers to those questions within 24 hours unless they've been answered by another student. Except on Sunday where I will not be posting. Okay, textbook is very specifically for this class, designed, you can see, same type of modules as we have, weeks, all that good stuff. Okay, tests. Question always happens, what are the tests going to look like? Well, the midterm will be problem-oriented. You'll complete it with an Excel spreadsheet. It will involve financial statements that we'll learn about. Okay, the final exam, in the midterm, you'll have a week to work on. You'll take it home. You'll use the Dropbox. You'll download the spreadsheet, fill it out, and put it back in there. You can have it. You can download it anytime it's open, which will be probably a week and a half before it's due. And you just have to get it back into the Dropbox before the due date. The final will be completed inside the Brightspace system as a quiz. Again, you'll have 5 or so more days to complete the test problems, but in this case, it will, once you start it, you have to complete it in a certain amount of time. It is timed that way. And you'll be locked out after you reach the time limit. So you have to be careful. And we'll We'll give you some review. We'll go over types of questions, all the expectations before the final during that last week. Okay, our class participation grade is based on our discussion postings. Okay, for every learning module, there's a discussion. I post very specific instructions. You should read them carefully, follow them carefully. Make sure that you've made your first post by Saturday and the follow-up post by the following Monday. So you'll always be required to post twice. Both of them should be 2 or 3 sentences at least. They should explain what you're saying, okay, in a way that others can understand, because your second posting should be a response to another student. Okay, always be courteous and respectful, even when, especially when expressing disagreement. We will get started right away in our writing assignments. The first one will be a memo about careers in accounting. You will see the Dropbox. There will be a link to it in the news feed, okay, where there will be even more specific instructions. You need to write clearly, concisely. You will do it twice, meaning you will write a rough draft, turn it in one Dropbox. I will give you feedback, and you will make corrections and submit it into a second Dropbox, a different Dropbox for the final draft, where it will be graded more harshly because you'll have had a chance to make corrections. Okay, this should be done using a professional business memo format. See that? You can Google that, and you will find lots of options about how that should look, but it should have a heading. It should have a memo heading that includes who's writing it, who it's addressed to, dates, subject, okay? Grammar, spelling, and word choice will be important to receive full credit on the final draft. Not as much so on the rough draft. That's the point, okay? Rough draft will be mostly based on completion of the requirements, making sure it's in the right format. About midway through the 7 weeks, we will put people in groups, and we will complete in that group a ethics project, which you'll see in a Dropbox at the time. We'll give you more examples there. Oh, by the way, we will need citations if you use anybody's information other than your own thoughts. Okay? Citation should be in the text as well as a works cited at the end. I do not care about the form of those citations as long as you make them. Do not steal other people's ideas without giving them credit. Homework. Okay? Homework. You complete it by Saturday, then you will be able to watch a video that explains the answers. You make any corrections needed and post those corrections by Monday back into the same Dropbox for the homework. We use the same Dropbox for the homework to post the second. That's different than what we do with the memos based on the way that BrightSpruce handles those. There's our calendar. There's our grading system. Very straightforward. You see what we have grades on. We have a midterm and a final. We have 6 homework assignments. We have the group ethics paper. Okay. We have the memos, 2 rough drafts, 2 final drafts, and then the discussions. Okay. If you need to make it up, if you let me know ahead of time, that can be possible. If not, then it becomes not acceptable. Okay, withdrawal policies, attendance policies. Please make sure that you participate regularly in class, even though it's online, and do so quickly and early on so that I know that you are participating. And then finally, our dishonesty policy. Please just do your own work, and everything will work well, and we will work wonderfully together. Okay, that's the syllabus. Okay, we've looked at the outline of the course. All right, we've talked about the different requirements, how we're going to do grades, where everything is. All right, so you should be ready to jump in and get started. So good to have you with us this semester. I look forward to working with you.